Texas school. Every night he'd clean classrooms, mop floors, and watch kids' drawings on the walls, little stick-figure families, smiling together. He'd pause for a second, look at those pictures, and whisper, "One day, Ethan, we'll smile too." But life didn't give him mercy. Rent was late every month. Sometimes dinner was just toast. He'd tuck his son into bed pretending everything was fine, but inside, he was breaking. One night, while sitting in his small apartment, Michael found an old notebook where he had once written business ideas. He looked at it, laughed, and said to himself, "Who am I kidding? I'm just a janitor." But then, a louder voice spoke inside his mind, a voice he hadn't heard in years. "You're still breathing. That means you still have a chance." Michael decided to change everything. Every morning he woke up at 5 a.m., exercised in the living room, and listened to motivational videos while making breakfast for his son. At work, during lunch breaks, he watched YouTube tutorials on car detailing, something he had always loved doing. After a few weeks, he borrowed $200, bought some basic cleaning tools, and started washing cars in his neighborhood on weekends. People laughed at him. "From janitor to car washer? That's not progress," they said. But Michael didn't care. He smiled, kept washing, and handed out business cards that said, "Carter's Auto Shine. We don't just clean cars, we restore pride." In the first month, he made $300. In the second month, $700. Then something happened. A local businessman saw Michael working under the hot sun, cleaning a car with his son beside him, handing him towels and smiling. The man was impressed by his discipline and filmed a short video, posting it online with the caption, "This single father's work ethic deserves respect." Within days, the video went viral. Thousands of people reached out, wanting their cars cleaned by Carter's Auto Shine. Michael had to hire help, other single fathers struggling just like him. He trained them personally, teaching not just business, but pride, honesty, and grit. 3 years later, he owned 5 detailing centers across Texas. Reporters called him the dad who never gave up. His son Ethan, now 10, looked at him with admiration and said, "Dad, you're my hero." Michael smiled and replied, "No, son. You're the reason I became one." When people ask how he did it, he says, "Discipline. Not motivation. I didn't feel like working most days, but I did it anyway. Because my son was watching. And one day, he'll do the same." You don't need a fancy degree or a perfect start. You just need a reason. Life hit Sarah Miller hard. At 26, she was left alone with a baby in her arms, no money, no family support, and no clear future. Her husband had walked out, leaving behind only bills and broken promises. She had 2 choices: cry about her life, or build a new one. At first, Sarah worked double shifts at a diner. She cleaned tables, served coffee, and went home to her baby girl, Lily, at midnight. She barely slept. She couldn't afford daycare, so she often carried Lily to work, wrapping her in a blanket during night shifts. People judged her, whispered behind her back, and said she'd never make it. But Sarah didn't care. She had fire in her heart. One night, after finishing her shift, she sat in her tiny apartment, holding a $50 tip from a kind stranger. She looked at Lily and whispered, "One day, this will change. I'll give you the life I never had." That night, she started learning online. She watched free business tutorials on YouTube, read about digital marketing, and taught herself how to sell things online. Every night, after work, after feeding her baby, she stayed up till 3 a.m. learning. Months passed. Her first online store failed. Her second failed too. People told her to give up and find a real job. But Sarah refused to quit. She sold old clothes on eBay. She flipped thrift store items. She turned her tiny kitchen into a workspace and started a small handmade candle business called Light Within. At first, she sold 5 candles a week. Then 50. Then, one day, a TikTok video about her story went viral. Within 48 hours, she had over 20,000 orders. Sarah couldn't believe it. The same people who once called her a failure were now asking her for advice. 2 years later, Light Within became a $1 million brand. She opened her own office, hired single mothers just like her, and gave them flexible hours so they could work and still care for their children. When a journalist asked her, "What kept you going when everything was falling apart?" she smiled and said, "Because my daughter was watching. And I wanted her to learn that strength isn't about what you have, It's about what you do when you have nothing. Today, Sarah drives her dream car, owns her dream house, and still tucks Lily in every night with the same words. We didn't wait for luck, we built it. No one is coming to save you. You are the rescue. Even when you're alone, broke, and broken, if you keep moving forward, life has no choice but to give up and reward you.